Hello. Welcome to the Fit and Free Show Freestyle Full Body Stretching Session with me. I'm ZGALA the Art Angel, also known as Auntie Angel. You can call me Auntie Angel if you like. And yeah, this is my office. This is the green screen hiding all the magical things back there. Let's just start off with a little free arm swinging and some twisting, some stepping, some noticing that I'm not quite in frame. So I'm going to start off in a straddle stance. I've been doing that a lot lately. Just do a little bit of a hip dip stretching there. Loosen up those hips. I have my long underwear on today because I was going to go snowboarding, but then I didn't. Ooh, I'm noticing commotion out there. Hope everything is all right. Just stretching out, loosening up these hips. Let's bring those back in and actually just stretch out the outer hip a little bit. Now, if you're doing this and you haven't been doing it, be very careful and be gentle and listen to your own body. I do this a lot, so I know right where the boundaries are, but if you're new to stretching your hips, just go nice and gentle and slow and just start wherever you are. I'm going to step back with the left foot into a moderate lunge, pushing into this back heel, noticing more commotion back there. Pardon me. Trying to check that my front toes are still visible past my front knee and pulling this hip onto the perpendicular line, pushing into that back heel. Let's pull these hands down in front and roll the shoulders down and back, bringing attention onto those fingertips. Feet are relatively parallel. Looking for a nice strong line through the core, center of the body. I'm going to alternate sharp focus on the fingertips and then soft eyes out at the imaginary horizon. And then sharp focus on those fingertips, soft eyes out at the horizon. Sharp focus on those fingertips, and I'm going to shift that back heel onto the perpendicular line now, opening the hips and watching this finger as it arches across the top of the body, coming into this side plane here. I'm going to slide this foot out a little bit longer. Woo! I'm on a slidey carpet, so I'm going to try to adjust that a little bit. There we go. All right, coming into this side plane here, the hips are opening. This knee is aiming for the wall behind. This foot is on the perpendicular line, and this foot is on the plane line now, what was the parallel line. Now I'm going to confuse my own self. I'm going to bend from this hip and bring this hand down on the inside of this front leg, using the elbow and the knee against each other for torque and support, and lifting this left arm, looking up at those fingertips. Bringing that arm all the way over onto the diagonal, coming into a little bit deeper lunge. Let's bring both hands down on the inside of that front leg, shifting that back foot onto the toes, bringing weight onto both hands, and bringing that front foot back to meet the back foot into downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Asana, pressing down in the heels, pressing back with the hips, pressing down with the heart. Let's do a little bit of a lift in the left leg, keeping those hips facing the floor or closed. Bringing that down, lifting the other side. Let's do that on each side again. Lifting, keeping those hips, that hip facing the floor, still closed, still aiming the chest toward the center of the earth. Let's do that on the other side again. And setting that back down, pressing down in the heels again. Let's swing the body forward through a plank or a chaturanga, and then dropping the hips, letting go of those toes, stretching the front of the body in a cobra, aiming the chin for the ceiling, making sure not to collapse in those shoulders. Giving the tongue a little stretch, letting that belly just unwind, stretching the belly. Lifting the chest, lifting the eyes, lifting the chin. And swing the hips back to about a 90-degree angle. Those feet are still released, and slide the hands out into Uttanasana Shishosana. Bringing the forehead down into extended puppy pose. Continuing to slide those arms out, getting a nice stretch in the chest, through the shoulders, releasing the belly, continuing to slide the arms, and then walking those hands back. Let's bring the hands under the chest and do a little cat-cow breathing. Starting from a tabletop position and then rounding the spine front to back and side to side, squeezing the air out. It's cat or Marjari asana, and then alternating that with the breath into Bitil asana, lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone, and then squeezing the air out, rounding the spine, exhaling. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling and squeezing the air out. Lifting and inhaling. Let's come back to tabletop. Tuck those toes under. Lift the hips. Pushing back into Adho Mukha Asana, or downward facing dog. Let's swing that left foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge on that other side, just for a little variety. Pushing into that back heel, and then stepping forward with the other foot, coming into a forward fold, just letting go of the head and neck. Hanging the upper body off the lower body. Let's bend the knees, swing the arms back, come into a counter stretch. Pushing the hips forward. And then coming upright into Tadasana. Let's shake all that out a little bit. Make sure those shoulders aren't riding up. And we're going to step back with the right foot. Coming into that moderate lunge on the other side. Again, pulling the hips onto the perpendicular line. Pushing into that back heel. Checking that you can still see the front toes past the front knee. And bringing the arms overhead and down in front. Rolling the shoulders down and back. And bringing your sharp focus onto your fingertips. Nice and long and strong through the core of your body. Feet are relatively parallel. Hips are relatively perpendicular. Kind of tucking that tailbone under just a little bit as you're pulling the hips slightly onto the perpendicular. And then shifting to soft eyes, looking out at the horizon or the imaginary horizon. And sharp focus on those fingertips. Soft eyes out at the horizon. Making sure those shoulders are relaxed. Sharp focus on the fingertips. And I'm going to extend those fingertips and switch that back foot onto the perpendicular line. Opening the hips and watching this finger arch across the top of the body. coming into this side plane here with both heels are on about the same line now. This knee is aiming for the wall behind me. The hips are opening, exploring the side plane here, trying to stay relaxed in those shoulders. And then I'm going to bend from this hip, extending that long leg just a little bit more, and bringing this left hand down on the inside of that left knee and foot. Lifting the right hand, looking up at those fingertips. I like to call this a side aeroplane pose, but it has another name. I'm going to bring this hand down onto that diagonal, just feeling for that long line from the heel, through the spine, out the fingertips. And then I'm going to shift onto that back toe as I close the hips and bring weight onto both hands on the inside of that front leg, pushing into that back heel in that deep lunge, bringing weight onto the hands. Let's bring that front foot back. And again, push into Adho Mukha Asana or downward facing dog. Let's tread those heels, pressing into the left, bending the right knee, bending the left knee, pressing into the right, pressing into the left, pressing into the right, and into the left, and into the right, pressing back into both heels, pressing the heart toward the center of the earth, relaxing the belly, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head a little bit. Adho Mukha or downward facing dog. Let's come through a chaturanga or a plank or a push-up position. Maybe hold that for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to drop those hips and lift the chest, but not release the toes in upward facing dog. Still holding, still lifting, not collapsing in those shoulders. And then lifting the hips all the way up, pushing back into Adho Mukha Asana or downward facing dog. And again, releasing the belly, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head a little bit. Pressing the heart toward the center of the earth, pressing the heels down into the ground. Nice long line from the fingertips through the spine, out the tailbone. And I'm going to swing this right leg forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge on that side. And again, pushing into that back heel, feeling into the strength of that. Just enjoy that for a little bit. And then I'm going to step forward, coming again into forward fold. Just letting go of the head and neck, letting go of the whole spine, letting go of the belly, letting go of the arms. Just releasing here. Let's bend the knees and put the hands on the floor, coming into a squat. And then straightening the knees, coming into that forward fold. And bending the knees again, coming into a squat. This time I'm going to bring the elbows in between the knees, pressing the knees apart, pulling the upper body forward. And then releasing that, and again, straightening the knees. Letting go of the head and neck. And let's just roll up one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. Just checking in with the spine as you roll up. And shake all that off. Just a little free arm swinging. Shake it off, shake it off. To do a little swirl at the top and then a little whoosh. Swirl and a whoosh. I don't really have room in here to do that step quite right, but I felt some spontaneous qigong trying to go up. I've been trying to listen to that motion in my body, the swirling motions, the dancing that's trying to happen in my body. Give that more time and respect. I think I used to. Anyway, I hope that you're listening to whatever your body is wanting to do with you, asking of you, because as I think I mentioned a time or two, your body's the one thing you can't live without. You might as well learn how to have a good relationship with it. Give it a little love. It's worth it. It does a lot for you. There you have it. More unsolicited advice from Auntie Angel. You're welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being you. Thanks for letting me be me. Thank you if you like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. And if you want to connect with me in other ways or support me in other ways, check out the description. I got books on Amazon. I got They Late Free Perfumes and Sleeping Dragons Company products over on Etsy. I've got music on Reverb Nation. Just a whole plethora of stuff. Artwork on the way. Hope you're enjoying the day. It's a beautiful one out here in Albuquerque. I'm going to get some on me. Thanks.